What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about 4 steps to being the best man that you can be. Perhaps you feel like you're not getting enough out of life. You have a predominantly masculine essence. You have this drive. Perhaps it's covered in layers of some stuff that's keeping it suppressed, keeping it down, but you have this drive to do more. You have this volition to get more out of your life. If that is the case, then this video is for you. We're going to break down 4 steps for you to be able to guide that masculine drive in a healthy direction and get more out of your life, live a more fulfilling life. So let's get right into it. Step 1. This might seem a little bit obvious, but it's very important. You need to set the intention to do better. Now, if this is the intention that you're setting, you need to come to terms with the fact that you want to do better, which means you are going to have to make changes. That is the power of setting the intention here. Come to terms with that. Set the intention that you want more out of your life. You want to be the best man that you can be. You want to evolve your character. So set that intention and mean it. Be serious about it. If you don't mean it and you're not serious about it, then nothing else matters. Whatever you try is not going to work. You have to be serious about it. You have to mean it. Might sound like at first glance that I'm stating the obvious by saying you have to set the intention, but it is very powerful when you look at it that way. And when you maybe get a mirror, if you have to, look yourself in the mirror, set yourself the intention that you want to be a better man. So that's step 1. Step 2. Admit ignorance and adopt honesty and humility. Through this process, through these steps here, we're going to be doing some self-reflection in the next steps. If you are not honest with yourself of where you could be doing better, what you're doing that's holding you back, then this is not going to work. So you need to adopt radical honesty. And I make this point because we're usually full of shit and we usually lie to ourselves. We have a self-serving agenda. We have a bias, right? You need to grab that bias by the throat. It's going to hold you back here. You got to get rid of it. You got to be radically honest with yourself. In fact, it's in your best interest. It is more self-serving to who you could become if you're radically honest. Sure, it's not self-serving to your current ego structure because you're going to be admitting flaws here. So adopt this sense of radical honesty. Now, as far as admitting ignorance and humility goes, this also goes hand in hand with the honesty. And this is a very important step because you don't know the answers. That's important to come to terms with. You currently do not know the answers. Now, maybe after some self-reflection and some research and some learning that you're going to be doing, you're going to have a better sense of what your problems are and what the solutions are. But even still, you're going to have to iterate. You're going to have to try and try again. You are currently ignorant in so many ways. So you have to be humble enough to admit that so that you can create a version of yourself that is open to learning the solutions. Because if you already think you know everything, you're not going to learn. The worst kind of student, even if you're learning from books, you're not learning from a teacher, you're still a student. Anybody who's learning is a student. You're a student of life. And the worst kind of student is a student who thinks they know all the answers. So admit your ignorance, be honest about that, be humble enough to admit that, and open yourself up to not knowing so that during this process you have the capacity to actually learn and begin to know things. And as a little aside, before we go to step 3, it is very important to be radically honest in general with yourself and with others. It's very important. This is going to make you a better man. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but that is a very important virtue for you to have. I have a whole video on the importance of keeping your word, the importance of integrity. And that goes hand in hand with honesty. I'll link that over here and in the description as well. All right, so step 1, you've set the intention to become a better person. Step 2, you have adopted radical honesty, humility, and you have admit ignorance. Now you have positioned yourself in a very advantageous way to become the best man you can be. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. Step 3, get a pen and a paper or open up a Word document, whatever it might be, something where you can write stuff down. Ask yourself, what areas of my life need improvement? Now, before you laugh and throw your hands up in the air and say all of them, that's fine, even if that is the answer. But be specific. Maybe your finances need improving. Maybe you don't have good financial habits. Write that down. Be specific about all of it. You know, if you have an insight into why you think that area of your life is not going so well, write that down too. Self-reflection is very important. This is essentially what step 3 is. It's self-reflection. Ask yourself what areas of your life you need improvement in. Finances. Perhaps your physical fitness needs work. Perhaps your eating habits need work. You know, your energy doesn't feel good. You feel sluggish. You feel like you have brain fog all the time. That's important. Part of this process of being a better man, the work that you're going to put in, it is very important to have mental clarity. Perhaps you have addictive tendencies. This is another reflective process. I'm going to keep this under the umbrella of step 3 here. Step 3 is kind of just the step of self-reflection. So another important question to reflect on is, what addictive tendencies do I have? Think about the time-wasting and addictive tendencies you have. You can literally write down things that I am addicted to / spend too much time doing. Playing too many video games, is that one of them? Write it down. Maybe you don't play video games. Maybe you spend too much time on social media and it's not constructive for you. Write that down. Eating a lot of junk food. Write that down. Spending money irresponsibly. Write that down. Spending too much time watching pornography. Write that down. Spending too much time and energy consuming alcohol. Hanging out with the wrong people. Write that down. Right? Perhaps your social life was one of those areas of life that need improvement. And I'm sort of saying all this out loud too to give you guys some ideas. Maybe some of these apply to you, maybe some of them don't. But these are some very popular examples of areas of people's lives that need improvement and things that people waste a lot of time doing and get very addicted to. So that's very important to come to terms with that. Another question that you can ask yourself here as part of step 3, what can I stop doing that I would stop doing that would improve my life, would give me more time, more energy? Chances are there's going to be a lot of overlap there with your list of things that you have addictive tendencies towards. So step 3, we've asked ourselves some reflection questions. We have said, what areas of my life need improvement? Get specific about them. Be honest about that. We've said, what addictive tendencies do I have that I spend too much time doing that waste my time? And then it's a very similar question. What can I stop doing that would improve my life if I stopped doing it? That second and third question are very similar. They're kind of the same thing. But if you ask the same question from a different angle, you might come up with even more answers. So it's worth your while to ask both of those questions. Now that you have the answers to all those questions, now you know what the issues are. Now you know where you have room for growth. We can move into step 4, which is the solution phase. This is a lifelong phase. Really, step 3 should be a lifelong phase as well. Like, you should be checking in with yourself, auditing yourself every so often. But step 4 is going to be something that you are working towards every single day in this process of fulfilling your potential and becoming a better person, becoming a better man. So not only are you going to be committing yourself to learning the solutions, but you're also going to be committing yourself to embodying the solutions. So if we have to slap a label on this 4th step, it is committing yourself to learning and embodying solutions. Like, this video is partially a solution in and of itself, because you're seeking out the solutions for the issues that you know you have. You know that you want to be a better man. How do you do that? That's why you're watching this video. So kudos to you. You're already on the journey. You've already taken your first steps. So how are you going to commit yourself to learning the solutions and embodying the solutions? Well, you're going to learn. You're going to get resources. If you are struggling financially, learn about finances. How can you have better habits financially? How can you make more money in a month, right? Can you pick up another job? Are you lazy right now? Or are you not working as much as you should? Maybe you need to increase your earning capacity in a way that makes you feel fulfilled. Go adopt that responsibility of cultivating a skill that you enjoy and then can monetize. As far as finances go, I'll give a quick shout out and a resource to this book right here. It's Not About the Money by Brent Kessel. This is one of the best finance books that I've read. He is a self-proclaimed financial advisor by day, yogi by night. So it is a holistic approach and perspective on the financial world and your habits surrounding finances. So there's a resource that you can learn from for that problem area of your life. Another solution here is to your addictive tendencies. You can begin to solve any of your addictive tendencies by adopting a meditation practice. Meditation is going to help you observe your impulses and act from a place of higher desire. So you might have lower desires to eat the bag of chips, but you might have a higher quality desire to have good health and fitness. And so you don't eat the whole bag of chips. Maybe you only eat a few, or maybe you don't eat them at all. Any of your addictive tendencies, meditation will help because you're going to develop this capacity to observe your mind. When you have an impulse to go watch some porn or go play video games for a few hours or just take out your phone and scroll on your phone, you're going to be able to watch that impulse and it's not going to have you in its clutches as much as it used to. You're going to be able to say, oh, actually, I observe that I have this desire to do that thing, but I'm just not going to do it because I know it's not going to serve me and I have much more important things to be doing. Maybe one of the problem areas of your life is a shitty perspective. Your view of the world is not conducive to healthy living. You don't have a healthy attitude. You maybe play the victim. You think the whole world is against you and you're entitled. Well, you're going to have to drop that. How do you drop that? You have to learn and adopt healthier perspectives. I recommend reading many of the great men who came before you in history. You can read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the Philosopher King. That sounds like a pretty great person to learn from, doesn't it? He's the Philosopher King. I always laugh at that title. I love it. You can learn from Viktor Frankle, Holocaust survivor and psychologist, which makes for a fantastic combo for radically empowering healthy perspectives on life, healthy outlooks. Maybe you think, well, part of my issue is that I know what I have to do, but what I need work on is commitment, discipline. For that, this book here is really going to help you. Guys, read books. Like, books are your best friend. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Tiny changes, remarkable results. An easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Fantastic book. I highly recommend it. I have a whole video on this book alone. I'll link it right over here and in the description below. Throughout this whole video, I'm just laying all these resources out for you guys. Go ahead and use them. They're valuable. I promise. I'm biased because I made a few of them, but I made them because I thought they were valuable and I wanted to share them with you. So that's the 4-step process. Obviously, a lot of what I've said was very general, and it's up to you to get specific because everybody's life is different, right? Everybody needs to work on different things. They have different strengths and different weaknesses. But now I'm just going to talk about some general principles that are important to keep in mind when considering how you can be the best version of yourself as a man in today's world. When I was talking about meditation, that is so very important. I have videos on how to meditate for beginners and the benefits of meditation. I'll link those up here and in the description. I highly recommend going to check those out if you don't know a lot about meditation. Meditation through and through has changed my life. That capacity to observe your own mind and its little addictive tendencies alone, even if that was the only benefit of meditation, it would be worth it to practice every day, which I do. I recommend practicing meditation every day, at least for like 15 minutes, but I recommend even more, 20 if you can. Come on, with the amount of time that we waste in a day, we can exchange some of that time for a meditation practice instead. It's going to be much better for you. It's going to help you stop wasting time in general and just be a much more aware individual, a man who is more in control of his emotion. You know, if you have anger problems, meditation will help with that too, because not only can you observe your impulses, you're going to be able to observe your mind in general. You're going to observe the gears turning, and you're going to be a much less reactive person. You're going to be able to respond consciously instead of react emotionally. So that's very important for you as a man, to be able to have this high capacity for emotional control. Meditation is going to help with that. That's going to help you not give in to your impulses, not be addicted to things, which drains your energy, your masculine drive, your ability to contribute to society and offer services or build things that are going to help the world. So it's very important that you get that under control. Be aware of your impulses, don't let them control you, and have good emotional control as well. Good high emotional intelligence and emotional control. Don't be a reactive person, be a consciously responding person. That is going to benefit your life tenfold in so many different ways. Now I want to talk about some character traits that are important to develop to be the best man that you can be. And the meditation practice and everything that I just said before about emotional control and developing a capacity to observe your mind are going to help you develop all these traits as well. Discipline, responsibility, purpose, integrity and honesty, self-awareness, emotional intelligence. As you commit yourself to being the best man that you can be and embody that commitment in your behavior, in your actions, then these character traits are going to begin to develop themselves. But also I want you to consciously set the intention to develop these character traits. That's going to be important. That's going to help you along the way. Everything done consciously is more powerful than things done unconsciously. All these character traits are going to help you fulfill your deepest potential. Another thing that I wanted to discuss briefly is a sense of purpose. And I briefly talked about that a few moments ago when I talked about how getting past your time wasting and developing these healthy character traits is going to help you offer services to the world, maybe build something that benefits the world, that contributes to society. You need to have a sense of purpose. For a lot of people, being a father or a good husband contributes largely to this sense of purpose, but also a sense of purpose through your career. What difference are you making in the world? This is deeply, deeply fulfilling for a man. What are you contributing to society? And don't just go and contribute something because it gets you a paycheck. Contribute something because it aligns with your values and because you are passionate about it. Now, that is a whole topic in and of itself, discovering your life purpose. But as you commit yourself to this process of being the best man that you can be, you are going to find what really lights your soul on fire if you haven't found that already. And that is what you should take up a career in. That is what you should take up work in. That is what you should dedicate your life purpose to. So I just wanted to briefly discuss that because this notion of life purpose is very fulfilling and important for a man. I put life purpose in quotations there, little air quotes, because it doesn't have to be one thing that sticks for your entire life. You can have a career that lasts 10 years. You can fill the cup with that career. You can hit the ceiling there, and then you can move on to different things. Your purpose is going to sometimes be shifting and evolving, and that's okay. That's just why I put life in air quotes, because it's not necessarily going to be the duration of your entire life. For more on that, this book here, The Way of the Superior Man by Deida, is a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. That's going to help you in all those areas of life. And those are probably, at least one of those is probably an area of life that you wrote down that you needed work on. Or maybe you didn't write that down. And now that I say that, you're like, actually, yeah, all three of those are areas of life that I need to work on, that I want to do better in. This book here is going to be great for that. It's actually like one of the first books I read, one of the first self-development books. And I still use principles that I read in this book in my relationship and in my career on the daily. It's a very good resource. I highly recommend it. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Just a quick recap. Step 1, set the intention. Meet it. Look yourself in the mirror if you need to. You want to be a better version of yourself. Get serious about this. Step 2, admit your ignorance. Adopt radical honesty and humility so that you are in a place now where you are open to learning. Step 3, self-reflection. Ask yourself all those questions that I mentioned earlier, right? What areas of my life do I need to work on? What are my addictive tendencies? What can I stop doing that would improve my life if I stop doing it? Step 4, the solution phase. Lifelong. Committing yourself to learning and embodying solutions. That's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions. If you want more content, a subsection of this video, you want a whole video on that, let me know. I'm very open to your recommendations and the questions that you guys might have. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for wanting to be a better man. I personally appreciate your efforts and your desire. It makes a difference in the world. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.